Hi, my name's Philip Cornwall, and I'm a writer director in the film industry. I went to film school back in 2007 down in Los Angeles, and I learned a lot. Once I got out of film school, I started working on some Hollywood productions further down the line, not as high up as a writer director, and I decided that I wanted to make my own films after getting experience working on crew. I think the objectification of women has long been in films ever since the beginning of time, beginning of movies. Um, what it was like back in the 50s with the damsel in distress and all the Hollywood big budget stuff, the women had to look flawless. They were always powdered up and makeuped up with lipstick, and they tended to only get cast in a romance role. And I think that the objectification of women and females in movies today on crew and the cast definitely is more subdued. It's more of a subtle thing these days. What I've noticed is a lot of women that get casted in films, they tend to be more of like the best friend or the girl that's going for the guy. I always like when women are cast in more complicated roles, uh, even villainous roles, because I figure, they could do anything that a man can do, and they could play a villain just as good as well. When it comes to crew in the film world, I've worked with a lot of great female artists. I've worked with Catalina Rodriguez. She was the DP on Rose Blood and Lucinda that I recently directed and put out. It was great working with her. If she didn't work in New York, or yeah, I live in New York, I'd probably work with her every single time. And it was great working with her and establishing a relationship. And I'm actually helping her out with this video right now. I've also worked in Idaho. I worked with April Frame. She was a really good cinematographer, really professional. She definitely knew her stuff. She seemed like she was cut out for Hollywood level productions, and it was great to work with her. I've worked with lots of different women in the industry in all kinds of different roles. My producing partner Cameron Price and I, whenever we're going to make a film and we're trying to get our crew together, we have a really wide range of a lot of diversity and different types of roles on set, from anything from script supervisor to cinematographer, DP, to producer, to first assistant director, to grip, to gaffer, all kinds of different roles. And it's something that we don't really do consciously because it just happens naturally. We like to work with a diverse crew and a diverse cast. And I just think that's the best way to do it in 2021 is to, everyone is on the same level. No one's above anyone, no one's below anyone. Let's all work together and just make the best movie we can. That should be the goal of everyone. I think when it comes to those higher positions, not only are they deserving, but they're also underrepresented. Um, when the women that I've worked with in film, they are just as good, if not better, in their departments as some of the men that I've worked with. And they're more than capable of doing all kinds of different jobs, everything high end from producing, directing, and writing to cinematography, DP, and all the way down to a PA or a gaffer, a grip. I've seen it all, and I know that they can work just as good, if not better, than men. And I feel like we're headed in the right direction when it comes to representation for women in films. I think the best way to make sure that women are represented fairly on a cast and crew is to seek out the best. And when you seek out the best, it's going to lead you to a lot of great women that work in the film industry. Um, just don't be so close minded about hiring your friends. Be a little more open minded, because I found that the more different people I work with, the more well rounded the product becomes, even the film, but also the cast and crew. So just to be open minded, and it's good to work with the same people. Sometimes you get to be like a family and you know how each other works, but it's good to also get outside of your comfort zone to encourage that diversity and inclusion for females in the film industry. Here's a fun fact, and it's something that I never really even noticed until someone pointed it out to me. And it's not something that I'm even conscious of, but someone pointed it out to me that I've actually had more female characters in my movies than male characters. And it's not something that I was conscious of. It's not something like, oh, I feel like, they need more inclusion. I know they do, but it's not something consciously I did. It just comes natural because guess what? Women make up 50% of the world, maybe a little more, and then men make up 50% of the world. So it's just something that should come naturally. And if it doesn't, then it deserves some attention. So that way we can bring the quality back to the middle where it should be for everyone and focus on, you know, like any other job, how well they perform the job, how many different ideas they have. Um, a female perspective can also offer um, a lot different of a take sometimes, especially when it comes to material. There's a lot of sensitivity and sensibility that some males might not have to the material. Some males that I've worked with, they just kind of want nothing against them, but some of them would show up and they're like, "Where do you want me to put this light?" And they're like, "Where am I? Do you want me to go brighter? You want me?" They didn't really have a lot of input creatively, and a lot of so it's kind of like just a job to them. And I think whenever you work on a film, it should be about the film itself. What story are we telling? Everyone should care about it. Everyone from the PA to the script supervisor to the writer, director, producer, and cinematographer. Everyone should care about that story. And those are the people that I want to have on my sets are people that read the script, that know the story, that know the characters, and they're not just there to put up a light. That's something you could do as an electrician out in the outside world. No, we're here to tell stories, and those are the people that I like to work with.